What's going on, everybody? It's Childish back out of the game, coming at you with another video for Summoners Horde Chronicles. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming update that we got going on here in about 48 hours. And to help me out with that was going to be none other than one of the top players on my server when it comes to PvE DPS here. Greg or not is in the house here. What's going on, Greg?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a
Should
pleasure
be
to have
fun.
you. It's a pleasure to have you, my man. Again, for those that don't know, basically, whenever you see me on stream and doing some raid boss here, essentially, whatever boss we're fighting here, Gregonot is always up on top here. He's literally number one in every single match here. So we've had an opportunity to meet on there on Twitch and in game, and so it's been a pleasure to see him just kind of donk everybody over when it comes to his hardcore damage style. So I was thinking about talking to him since he's super end game. Maybe he can give us some tips and tricks when it comes to some of the updates that we got going on here. So without further ado, Greg, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, all right. So the first thing we got going on here, Brawl Arena, right? So this is our real-time arena that we're looking to do. I mean, you and me both have been doing our regular PvP farming quite a little bit, but you were telling me on the side here, like you're actually focused on a little bit on the, you've been focused on more so on the PvE DPS, and now you're kind of switching it up here. So tell me what's your honest thoughts about the Brawl Arena, the RTA, and maybe potentially what you're looking to consider when building your teams.
Yeah, the RTA looks like it's going to be pretty fun. It does look very similar to Summoner's War or Sky Arena if you're used to that kind of RTA. You get to pick 4 characters, and then each summoner gets to ban out one of the other monsters from the opponent, and then you also get to ban out one of your opponent's weapons.
Right.
So in RTA Arena in Summoners War Chronicles, we're going to be able to swap weapons on the fly, kind of like you can in PvE, except there is a cooldown. So when you go in, you're going to pick a starting weapon, starting element,
Right.
and you are able to ban out one of your opponent's weapons, which is going to be great because Dark seems to be one of the best element choices for PvP right now, and being able to ban that out is going to be very nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I'm gonna find it really, really hard not to ban out like a light and dark one per se, because if you think about it, those are the ones that essentially do kind of neutral damage towards all, and like you said, especially for a unit like Cleave who gets the opportunity to get a 18-second endure, or a unit like Orbia who has the ability to provide like a little bit of life to whatnot. They seem pretty darn strong for PvP. It's going to be kind of hard to mix it up here. Ultimately, I really don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel like if I I mean, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the kind of weapons that we have and whatnot here, and the units that we're looking to create around those weapons. But what do you think? Are you looking to ban anything else outside of light and dark, or are you just gonna focus on like the dark 1%?
Honestly, mostly just Dark, because Dark Orbia, she has like AoE, a bunch of debuffs, and also unrecoverable, and that can be deadly.
Sure.
You're right about the Dark Cleave, the 17-second endure, and it can be like permanent endure because it's only a 15-second cooldown if he can keep that crit rate down debuff on you. So he can just keep up endure forever if you don't have a cleanse.
Gotcha.
And then Dark Kina also, she just resurrects her units, and we all know how annoying resurrects are in PvP in this game. So.
Yep. And so that's what I was gonna kind of say. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was also just going to say that it's going to be nice that we can ban the dark weapons because we might actually get to see some variety in PvP right now.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. And so, given that lineup, this is what I've been thinking about, and I'll let you kind of ponder this in this particular situation. As we talked about privately, prior to creating this video, given the fact of how this is laid out and how we're going to be able to play this Brawl Arena, obviously a lot of people like yourself are kind of going in the taking some time to kind of set aside some theory craft and kind of figure out what kind of strategy they're looking to come up in here. And like you said, reviving units pretty darn strong. There's going to be specific, healers, cleansers, or whatnot that people are probably going to be utilized as well. I feel like, considering units that potentially can stop somebody from reviving, or units that have beneficial blockers, some of those units out there are going to be pretty strong. In addition to that, like some archetypes, maybe, building teams around specific archetypes that focus on the backline of a unit or a backline of a team. I don't know. I'm kind of like jumping around with what kind of team I want to do, but I know you said you kind of already looked at some kind of strategies that you're looking to implement. What are you thinking?
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of cleaves out there, so I think that there's going to be a lot of units that go through beneficial effects. Like there's the Water Martial Cat,
Right.
the super popular Wind Magic Knight right now,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and then there's also Dark Cowgirl. So there's going to be some of those. There's going to be a ton of revivers. There's going to be the obvious Vanessa Tion, but
Right.
there's some underutilized ones like the Green Epicon Priest or the Wind Epicon Priest, sorry,
Yep.
and also the Light Epicon Priest. They're really good revivers also that kind of go by the wayside a little bit just because Tion and Vanessa are not just revivers; they're also tanks
Right.
and provide their own like niche, which is that they can provide frontline while also tanking, whereas the
Yep.
Epicon priests can't quite do that. But that doesn't mean that they're not good. Also,
Right. 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 Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what things people do. Want to look at the pick and ban. Kind of moving on to the pick and ban. Do you feel, and maybe this is just me, as far as the priority pick versus late pick, it's a little bit different when we were thinking about Sky Arena, because in Sky Arena we had 5 monsters to pick. So even if the first person had the first pick per se, the cool thing about the second person that picked the late picker, they had the opportunity to pick, one more unit at the very end that really like put the first player in a situation here. So in this particular one here, it's like the late pick. I feel like they're at a disadvantage because not only does the priority picker get to pick the first pick, but he also gets to pick a final unit that kind of maybe counterplays everything that the late pick person is doing. What's your think about that? Do you think that's going to be pretty? I mean, you think it's pretty fair, or
well, it would be fair because I think that the upside is supposed to be that the second place person gets to ban last for the weapon choice or pick first for the weapon choice. I can't remember, but the fact that pretty much everybody is going to just be banning dark weapons kind of nullifies that advantage.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure. It might be a detriment to go second right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. We'll have to
we'll
see how
see.
that plays out. That'll be really, really interesting here. So, in addition to that, looks like they know that there's going to be a Brawl Arena currency swap, so that's good. Obviously, we're going to be doing some stuff on the side to be able to get ourselves some more additional rewards similar to what they did in Sky Arena is going to be good as well. Now, this next thing they
The,
got going on, what were we going to say?
I just wanted to say the big thing about that shop is that we can get a second Devilmon each week.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was it right there.
It's gonna be huge.
I almost passed it up. I didn't even see that there.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Good call. Good looking out. Good looking out. So, looking at this next area here, I thought the Brawl Arena was going to be a nice for the update. They're going to not only bring out that, but also the battlefield. So team like nine versus 19 battle mode. Like, is it basically you and your three summoners, with you in a team versus like another three people and their three summoners? Is that what it kind of sounds like?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I haven't played the Korea server, so I'm not totally sure. I haven't seen too much about the battlefield, but it does look pretty interesting just because, from what I hear, it's also supposed to help us with sky stones and gold. Apparently, it's supposed to be a way that we can get a decent amount of them, which,
Yeah.
if you've been getting to the end game of Chronicles right now, you know that those are two big roadblocks.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
it looks like it's not just focused on PvP. I mean, it is a 9v9 PvP, but you need to have some of your team mining sky stones and some people protecting the miners, and other team like maybe have a couple more players going and disrupting their miners.
Yeah.
So we'll see quite how it goes. It looks interesting though.
It looks very interesting, and I got to give credit where credit is due. Comptos didn't just drop like, 3 or 4 different types of just straight PvP things. They did trying to mix it up with some different game modes here, create a little variety for the game. So hopefully I can find some time to do it as I'm trying to, do all my daily quests and farm expedition and everything else that we got to do. But considering the fact that they're putting it in a 2-hour window on certain days or certain times, I think that'll make it a little bit easier to kind of set aside some time to do it. Now, this may cut into your dominating force that is the field events that are going on with the raid boss here. Are you going to be able to make some time
Oh
for that?
wait,
Or?
I will be only going to the world bosses first. Battlefield will come after.
There you go. There you go. All right. So,
It looks like Battlefield and RTA alternate times with each other, so I
yes.
should be able to find a time in there somewhere.
There you go. We can work out a little bit of stuff here. So, yeah. So again, if you guys didn't get a chance to check it out or read it, looks like 2 different teams. One's going to be mining, and the other team's going to be going after them. So, it's cool. I guess there's like 2 different kind of strategies or 2 different kind of things going on at certain times. So it's nice to see that they're going to not just make it a just straight all, like you said, end all be all, just kind of kill who can kill first or whatever. So, I was going to see. I didn't notice if there was actually if they're going to do a shop for Battlefield. But hopefully they give us
Yeah,
something
I
on the
didn't
side.
see that either, but I'm pretty sure, as I said before, the big reward is that you get a bunch of gold and sky stones,
Okay.
which yeah, that's a again at the end game right now. Our big roadblock right now is gold and sky stones. So
Yeah, definitely.
even if there's not a shop, you're still gonna want to do it.
Yeah, buddy. All right. So taking a look at the rest of this, I think this is the last thing that CM Serena put out there, but we did notice that she put out an update actually 3 days ago as well, talking about the new units that are coming out here, as well as Naraka, the boss here. So I don't know if you saw, there actually was a couple of content creators on YouTube that made a couple of videos on both of them, the raid boss and the Ravens. Have you taken a look at the Ravens at all? Any of them that you're looking to potentially go for?
Yeah, the fire one looks the most interesting because it has the beneficial effect ignoring damage, which just like the wind martial cat, or not the water martial cat, and the wind magic knight is a really strong way of killing cleaves and any boss that has invulnerability or endure.
Right.
So there's definitely going to be some PVE and PvP use for this one element of monster. As for the other ones, the light one looks pretty interesting too.
Right.
Any unit with spell shield looks pretty good.
Yep. I was gonna say I'll leave a link in the description down below. I found a couple of content creators that actually were able to. I don't know if they went on the Korea server. They were on like a beta test, but they actually had a little bit of a video showcasing all of them here. So I'll put that video down below. But yeah, I did get a chance to see that video and saw see this boss as well. And from what I gathered here, it looks to be like this particular boss here. If you do not have a cleanser, this dragon spread debuff that's going to be coming on board in this particular boss is going to hurt and exponentially hurt as it progresses in here. So what's your take on this particular boss? What are some of the free to play units that you're looking to recommend the community out there as far as like cleansers or whatnot?
Yeah, from what I've seen of this boss, it does it has the dot, and you're gonna want to have a cleanser or some immunity to keep the dot off your team. But a big thing is that the boss is going to keep flying in the air every so often,
Right.
and you're going to have to. There's like these seal stones where your team needs to stand in it so that when the boss lands, you don't all die. And you're going to have to keep elementals and other things away from them while you also damage the boss. So it looks like a pretty interesting fight.
Yeah, it looks like a very like it's going to be a lot of things going on here, which is good, right? They need to have these bosses with these unique mechanics here to kind of make it easy. I feel like I mean, actually, as far as the foggy prison and whatnot, I've actually enjoyed kind of going back and forth and managing that. But I'm looking to see what kind of uniqueness they could bring to the game, because if you think about like all the previous games that have came on, all these games have had unique bosses where they really made you think about how you're going to go about taking it down. So if it's one of those things where it's like, okay, just get 500k power and you'll burst it down, it's no fun at all. You kind of want to you kind of want to have, like I said, like the uniqueness about the dungeon or the boss that makes it super fun to do.
Yeah, I definitely think like with all MMOs, when you get to a certain power, you probably will be able to just burn this boss
Right,
down.
right.
But he does have some interesting mechanics. One thing is that he gains invulnerability. So those units I was mentioning, the Water Martial Cat, the Wind Magic Knight, the new Fire Raven,
Hmm.
uh, they are going to be pretty strong and pretty good monsters to use on this boss.
That'll be fun. And I was going to say if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about here. I think that's pretty much it. I noticed the Ravens. So funny enough, yeah, I like how they put the Ravens what's it called, keywords here, but they didn't really go about this. It was hopefully down the
Mhm.
road, or maybe somebody in the comments can see this. Like we get the keyword thing, which is kind of cool in game, but hopefully down the road they can kind of showcase us the skills here versus waiting for the units to drop out here so we can take a look at it. That would be
One thing
nice.
about the Fire Raven is I'm pretty sure we're getting it through the collection book.
Right.
So we are. It is going to be a free to play unit, at
Yep.
least your initial copy.
Yep.
You're still probably gonna have to get skill ups or Devilmons, whatever.
Right. Right. And
But it does look like an attack speed unit, so it's
yes.
gonna be one of the few units where you're probably actually gonna want to build it on Swift Blade or something like that.
Right. And right. And from what I understand, the attack speed and like focusing speed on a specific unit essentially just improves the auto attack damage on a unit. It doesn't help it speed up the cooldowns or anything like that. It's just strictly auto attack damage for units
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
it's not auto attack damage, it's the auto attack speed, but I mean,
Yeah,
pretty much the
yeah.
same
That's
thing.
what I mean. Yeah, sorry, I've been too much into
Yeah.
turn-based gotchas. Like I forget now. Yeah, when it comes to MMOs and how it kind of all works. But no, yeah, I get it. And then like of course, if there's other units out there that have skills or whatever based on attack speed, whatever, that can help out as well as far as the.
Also, another key stat that a lot of people are ignoring is precision. On an auto attack characters, precision is actually pretty important for keeping your damage high.
All
So
right.
it's going to be one of the few monsters you're actually going to look for precision on.
So before we end the video, would you be able to talk about it? Because I personally haven't talked about that at all on any of my videos, like the understanding, the precision, the accuracy. I mean, obviously accuracy resistance is one thing, but precision evasion, like what's the whole difference on that?
Yeah, if you're familiar with the resistance accuracy formula in
Yes.
Summoner's War, it's kind of like the opposite of that. Most characters or most units, if you look at them, they start with like 90 to 100, sometimes even a little bit more precision.
Okay.
And most characters will start with like, I don't know, 15 to 20% evasion. So uh, if you have 100% precision and they have 20% evasion, they'll have a 20% chance to dodge your attack. And the reason is because you can actually go up to 200% precision, and they can go up to 100% evasion. So basically, if you have 100% precision and they have 100% evasion, they will dodge it every single time.
No kidding.
So you're going to have to get precision and get it all the way up to 200% if you want to hit 100% of the time.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's funny because like most games that I ever played, they only went up to like 100% on the majority of things. Or rarely do you see a game like try to go 120, 140, whatever like that. So
Hmm.
that'd be interesting. Yeah. That's super cool. That's super cool. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and call it right there. Really, that's pretty much the gist of the update here. Some new units, new game modes, and whatnot here. One of the biggest updates we've seen thus far, probably the biggest update we've seen thus far. So, Greg, once again, man, thank you for coming on board and helping me out, helping the community out here. And I'll see you in the top 3 ranks here on the next raid boss, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks for
All
having me.
right, guys. Take care. God bless.
Yeah.